That was beautiful. Thank you, Carol. Good morning, Unity of Tustin. Good morning. It's wonderful to be here with you this morning, exactly where we are meant to be. My name is Marisela Velázquez Penny, and I'm your board secretary. And I want to welcome everybody today in person and online. Thank you very much for joining us. If you could all take a moment now to silent your cell phones, please, so that they do not interrupt the service. Thank you. Today, Reverend Shara is here to share her message entitled, "It's Time to Show Up." So we are very excited. Thank you very much, Reverend Shara. We're also blessed to have Debbi Ebert. There she is. Hi, Debbi. She's returning this morning, and we're just so blessed to have you and can't wait to hear. We're also double blessed to welcome Carol Roman, our own Carol, back from her adventure in Iceland. Thank you, Carol. Today is also birthday Sunday for those born in September. So if you are a September baby, please stand if you are able, so that we can celebrate you today. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy Wonderful. Happy birthday. Lastly, I would like to announce that the pine cones are falling once again near Site 8. So please be careful. We do have caution tape up there, but be mindful when you're walking there unless you have a hard hat. That's always a good thing around this time. And lastly, I would like to hand it off to Debbi, who will be leading our congregation song. And I'm sorry, Margie. And we do not have a new congregation song, as I'm sure you've noticed, but we will have one next Sunday. So thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Please stand. Thank you. All good, holy, holy. All good, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, in my soul.
another year, we'll get that rhythm down, Carol.
I'm gone 2 weeks and it falls apart.
Good morning and greetings to all of you here in the sanctuary and online. My name is Patty Higgins. I'm one of your prayer chaplains, and it is my honor to light the Christ candle and to read the daily word, which you can purchase online or in our bookstore. It's our meditation book here at Unity. We light the Christ candle to honor the divine light that is in each and every one of us all and everyone else too. And today's daily word is refresh. The Bible verse is from Romans 15:32. So that by God's will I may come to you and be refreshed in your company. After a renewing night's sleep, I feel refreshed. I walk with my friends, enjoy time outdoors, sing, play the piano, Carol, maybe read. We're reading Horse in our seniors group. I journal. I just connect with that divine spirit within. I set aside all worries and trust my faith in God. I am curious how miracles are going to resolve that tension of opposites in our world today. I am curious how God will bring harmony and unity to refresh us. I notice the many amazing opportunities to connect with the divine presence within and without me, wherever I am, whatever I'm doing. In each breath, I connect with God's presence in all of life, and I am refreshed. Today's affirmation is, honoring the divine presence within, I am refreshed. Please repeat together with me. Honoring the divine presence within, I am refreshed.
Thank you, Patty. Happy Sunday, everybody. Happy Labor Day weekend. Happy Labor Day, everyone online, and those of you who are vacationing who are watching later. I don't think there's a congregational song that's ever brought me more joy than that one. Carol, I think you overestimated our capacity to learn. But I had this funny moment where, at the end, how long do you hold the last oh? So I got it. I'm like, I'm going to look at Margie because I saw her. Oh, I saw it. And as soon as the shape of her mouth changes, I'll change. So I feel like I found like the secret code. And then I see her look, and then she looks at Carol. Oh, brilliant. It was just a brilliant moment. Our punishment is that's the song for September. Oh, just delightful. Just delightful. I'm so grateful. So let us enjoy this joy. Let us be refreshed by the humanity. That's almost the best part. When we move into perfectionism, we leave out the best part. And when we learn to laugh at ourselves, it's all holy, holy. Okay, so let's move together in prayer. I invite you to center in love, to center in joy, to center in refreshingness. And today's daily world reminds us that we can find many opportunities to refresh our awareness that God, that divine presence, is with us wherever we are, whatever we are doing. And it only takes a moment to to find God's presence. So let's take a moment to find God's presence as us, right here, right now, in this very room. Now, we all know the experience of going into a room, forgetting what we went in there for. And sometimes we also go into another spiritual room, and we forget what we went in there for, too. So right now, take a moment to remember why you came into this spiritual room today. Why have you showed up? And how, by doing so, you're co-creating the very room that's blessing others as well. And let us now become aware of all the ways our showing up here helps us become aware of our divine essence so we can bring that essence to wherever we show up. And with great gratitude and with great love, we say thank you, thank you, thank you, God. Thank you, each other. Amen. Okay, so now we're going to move into our monthly evolutionary update. This is our monthly kind of segment where we just tell you a little bit about what's going on behind the scenes here at Unity of Tustin. So, as you know, we're still in the creation of the preschool, the creation of the meditation gardens of Orange County entity, the spending down the FEMA grant, and you'll hear more about that in 2 weeks with the board update. But there are several other initiatives emerging. So Maricela and Deanna are heading up a new outreach ministry, and their inaugural event is going to be to have a sponsor and have a booth at this year's Dino Dash. So we're really excited and grateful for that, saying yes to the inner inspiration, and then the group will also help us develop proficiency in advertising our events to the larger community, especially United in Light coming up. We have a new ministry that's emerging as well from our collective wisdom, which you're going to hear about later on, so there's a teaser. And finally, we're having deep discussions on what's the best way to set up our new membership system. So we want people who are newer to our community to have the opportunity with ease to spiritually deepen and to engage before they're in a position to make decisions on behalf of us all or serve on the board. But we also want the process to feel embracing and welcoming and celebratory. So we're having a courageous conversation on how to really do this as a leadership team, what's the best way forward. And part of the discussion is how to make ongoing shadow work part of both the new membership process and our collective culture as Unity of Tustin. So why? Why are we so interested in shadow work? I think it's because we've learned and we've seen and we've demonstrated, sorry, all that laughter, that we've done as a leadership team, it leads to less toxic conflicts. You know, what's a toxic conflict? A conflict that can't be repaired. That's not repairable. It's led to less toxic conflicts, more harmony and collegiality and goodwill, even when we disagree. We've seen it happen. And, shadow work is the experience of taking parts of ourselves that are hidden, that we then project onto someone else, and it causes conflict. It's how to be aware of that process, how to accept those parts of ourselves, how to integrate those parts of ourselves so they're not coming out sideways, and we have a more expansive, free, and healthy experience of being alive, individually and collectively as Unity of Tustin. So this is very important to us because this is what we want to see thrive in the world. And So, of course, we have the quantum living process, which is one way to do that important shadow work. But we're also incorporating this into our fall spirit group series, which you have the opportunity to sign up for today. There are sign-up sheets outside in the back of the sanctuary. But we're doing Byron Katie's The Work. And this is our, and we really encourage you, if you're even a marginal yes, we encourage you to lean in, because this is really our Adventures in Faith 2.0, where we have the opportunity to get on the same page as a collective, to learn the same language, to get the same kind of consciousness going, so we can bring forward the beloved community in new and wonderful ways. So please look into that, and we're making it easy for you. It is based on Byron Katie's The Work, and she has a book, Loving What Is, which you can read, but you don't have to read a thing. All you have to do for this Fall Spirit Group's Adventures in Faith 2.0 series is show up. Our theme of the day. You show up to your spirit group, and me, Blair, and Craig have created videos for you. A button is pressed, you watch the video, and then you get to talk about it. So it's an easy way to do hard work that is service for you and is service for us as a collective. And I hope you join us. So show up by doing that, and you'll also be doing the work for our entire community. So with that, let's have some more wonderful music from our very own Debbi Ebert, and then that will lead us into meditation.
Good morning.
Let me be a candle, let me be a radiant star, let me be a beacon, shining who you are. Let me be the miracle I've been dreaming of. Let me be a lantern of your love. Shine through me, shine through me. Let this light within me help this troubled world to see. Shine through me, shine through me. Use this willing vessel, Holy Spirit, shine through me. If a friend grows weary, I'll come and take his part. If a child is hungry, I'll give of my heart. In the darkest hour, I will lead the light above. I will be a lantern of your love. Shine through me, shine through me. Let the light within me help this troubled world to see. Shine through me, shine through me. Use this willing vessel, Holy Spirit, shine through me. Shine through me, shine through me. Use this willing vessel, Holy Spirit, shine through me.
As you take those beautiful words sung by Debbi, let them move into your heart and soul. And allow these words, which are adapted from Brene Brown's Daring Greatly, to serve as a wholehearted guide of how we can dare to show up and walk each other home. And as you take a deep breath, just allow yourself to listen with the ears of your heart. So listen, sweethearts. Above all else, let each of us know that we are loved and lovable. See yourself demonstrating this in your words and your actions, and how you treat each other and how you treat yourself. And right now, see yourself engaging with each other from a place of worthiness. We are worthy of love, of belonging, of joy, especially when we compassionately embrace our own imperfections. See yourself doing that now, and see yourself showing up, being seen, honoring vulnerability, sharing your stories of struggle and strength. Let us teach each other compassion by practicing compassion with ourselves first, then with each other. Let us learn accountability and respect and goodwill by watching each other make mistakes and make amends, and by daring to ask for what we need. Let us know joy by practicing gratitude together. And let us feel this joy by learning how to be vulnerable together. And when uncertainty and scarcity visit, and they will, let us draw from the spirit that is part of our everyday life. Together, we will cry. Together, we will face fear. And together, we will grieve. And when we want to take away each other's pain, let's instead sit with each other and teach each other how to feel it until it transforms us. Let us be brave enough to show up. To show up with humility, with love, and with greatness. Right here, as our beloved community, in the silence. And as we emerge from the silence, let us show up with love to all of those on our prayer list here at Unity of Tustin and all of those in our minds and heart, as we are blessed by another gift of music from Debbi Ebert.
You know, this next song is all about calling people. When was the last time you picked up the phone, not emailed or text, just picked up the phone and called somebody and said, I love you? No New Year's Day to celebrate, no chocolate-covered candied hearts to give away, no first of spring, no song to sing. In fact, it's just another ordinary day. No April rain, no flowers bloom, no wedding Saturday within the month of June. But what it is something true, made up of these three words that I must say to you. I just called to say, oh yeah, I just called to say how much I care. I really do. I just called to say I love you, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Very good. No summer high, no warm July, no harvest moon to light one tender August night, no April breeze, no falling leaves, not even time for birds to fly to southern sky, no Libra sun, no Halloween, no giving thanks to all the Christmas joy you bring. But what it is so old, so new, to fill your heart like no three words could ever do. I just call to say I love you. I just call to say how much I care. I just call to say I love you, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Ah yeah, just do it, just try it this week. Pick up the phone, don't text. Don't email, don't Facebook, just pick up the phone. Here we go. I just call to say I love, yeah, I just call to say how much I care, I really do. I just call to say I love you, yeah, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, of my heart, of my heart. Thank you, Carol.
I say we're redeemed. Very nice. That's divine order. You get to, miss the mark and like home run, all in the same service. Yes, thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Carol. Great song choice. Great song choice. Whew. So we are now moving to our final pillar of transformation in this series that we started all the way back in January of the 4 pillars of transformation, which are waking up, which are cleaning up, which are growing up, and today we will be moving into showing up. So just as kind of a little recap, waking up encompasses our expanded awareness and experiences of the divine. And these are the experiences we get through spiritual practice, through prayer, through mindful living. These state experiences where we have a direct knowing of the mystery. Cleaning up is the shadow work. It requires us to be aware, accept, and integrate our allness. And we do this through intentional shadow work. We do this through therapy. We do this through creating conditions where we catch ourselves acting sideways, projecting through judgments, through upset. And we can see what needs to be healed from within. Growing up is what we just completed, moving through the stages of development, learning to respect the worldview of others, keeping the gifts of each stage while transcending their limitations. And finally, showing up. So showing up is who we are being and how we are serving each other in the world, in the everyday, in the concrete. This is our Unity 5th principle that tells us knowing these truths, knowing our principles is not enough. We have to live them. We have to demonstrate them. We have to put feet on them and learn along the way. Because we're not always going to do it right, but then we're going to see where we fell off course, and we course correct, and we move forward. And this is a pretty good system of spiritual transformation. When we do all 4 of these things, we're going to be making some sort of progress. And the idea is not to necessarily do them individually, but they synergistically work together at the same time. I've seen in the literature, we tetra-activate them. Yeah, I know. That's how impressive we are. We're tetra-activating our pillars of transformation. We're going to be talking about showing up. So, as many of you know, I'm dating. And I have to make clear, I think this goes without saying, but I'm not allowed to date us. No. I'll lose my ordination just when I got it, But I'm dating, and I asked my date to meet me at the gym, and he didn't show up. And that's when I knew we were not going to work out. There's more. What kind of doctor has to show up whenever they're needed day or night? Oh, and an oncologist. Yeah, that was a good groan. I like that one. Why did the cops show up at the baseball game? They heard someone was stealing bases. A guy took an airline to court after his luggage didn't show up. Sometimes inanimate things don't show up, but he lost his case. Okay. And finally, why did the wizards show up to battle empty-handed? Their weapons were at a staff meeting. Thank you all. We are the easiest crowd, I will tell you. And I love that about us. We love to laugh. We really love to laugh. And sometimes I feel, I don't stress at all about how bad the joke is. Because I almost feel like we're like skins over joy. And we just need the tiniest outlet just so it comes out. So I love laughing with you all. But yes, so we are showing up, even when our weapons are in staff meetings, wizards we are. We get to show up, and there is a wizardry about showing up. There is an alchemy. When we show up connected to Source, not connected to the past, not connected to our projections, we are creating miracles in the moment. Okay, karma is when the past is linked to the present and extrapolates in a straight line to the future. Nice linear graph. Okay? It's all dependent on each other. When we do the shadow work, when we clean up, when we wake up, when we are growing up, we get the capacity to meet the moment with our divine presence. And when we meet the moment with divine presence, everything that emerges is part of the field of infinite possibilities. What emerges is what divinely is wanting to be born in that moment. And this is how we create a new earth. New heaven and a new earth. New heaven is the change of consciousness we do internally. The new earth comes from an outpicturing of that consciousness. And it means moment-to-moment authenticity, that divine nexus that we get to do when we're showing up, when we're showing up in our full capacity. So, and this, by the way, is what we are inspiring to do. I know you all know that we are in an integral ministry practice coaching program. We work with Dr. Gary Simmons. We do a lot of different activities. We're changing infrastructure a bit. And it's kind of like, why? Well, the reason why is we are aspiring to create the conditions, the infrastructure of the organization as a living organism. We're trying to create the conditions where it's more likely, just by being part of our community, that all of us will wake up, clean up, grow up, and show up. That's what the process is all about. That we can transcend some of that linear extrapolation and move into new emergence that can be a blessing for us and for the world. Because the world needs something that doesn't exist yet. So we need to learn how to be the alchemical wizards from which those new capacities emerge. And I say we're doing it. We're doing it. We have that intentionality. Energy follows attention and intention. This has been a deep intentionality. So, just again as a little bit of an overview, some of the ways we do that is by intentionally moving from minister-centric ministry to mission and purpose-centered ministry. Now, this is kind of a hard thing to grasp. It's not so concrete. What does that look like? There are lots of ways. One is it looks like 3 ministers. So we have 3 different points of view, which has us right off the bat realizing there's no one truth, there's no one way, but there are many different ways to God. 100 ways to kneel and kiss the ground, as Rumi writes. And we have different focuses. Craig focuses more on waking up with his Wednesday meditations, with the meditations we do here on Sunday mornings, with all of our prayer ministries, with spiritual practice, with centering prayer and meditation. Those are more of the waking up capacities. Blair and I focus very much on growing up and showing up. I kind of take an evolutionary point of view, and Reverend Blair focuses more on principle. But we're really talking about the same thing, and all 3 of us are deeply committed to the cleaning up because we just know. We know the alchemy comes from the cleaned up consciousness. That's where it emerges from. And that's why we're all so excited about the Fall Spirit Group series and doing this Byron Katie work all together as a collective. We also are working at moving from predicting and controlling, of course doing some planning, some strategic planning, but really sensing and responding. You know, what wants to emerge? Or if we try something new, how do we tweak it so it fits our soul? Those are things that we're working on. And then the showing up, we're seeing a lot of how we not just show up individually, but there is something deeply alchemical about showing up as a collective. Something comes from the we that cannot come from the I. And that's kind of what we're after these days. We see it with the spirit groups, where it's run for us, by us. We see it with Senior for Seniors, in terms of like the new things that are coming forward that really fill in the space between us. That's kind of where we're leaning into a bit. And the why is a little different because, of course, this community has been showing up for decades and showing up with remarkable brilliance. The intentionality is just a tiny bit different. And the intentionality is to realize our divine oneness as a human organism. That we are a living organism. It's realized that all of creation, all of manifestation, we are all immanent. Reverend Blair talked about this in one of his last talks. Immanently, meaning what Jesus did is he embodied how we physically, creation physically is divine. There is not this separation. We are all the body of Christ. And why we focus on the beloved community is because the nexus of what's emerging and our presence is right here, right now. So we manifest it and demonstrate it and lean into it right here, right now, as our way to realize, as Jesus did, how we are the body of Christ. So that's why we're doing this. We're awakening to our relationships. We're awakening to our call to conscious service. We're awakening to our oneness and that we are a living organism. So what we're after service from the compassionate heart that is moving towards something. It's a little bit different than moving forward in protest. That's one type of movement. But there's something wizard that has that wizard quality when we're moving service from a compassionate heart towards something. And that's one of Byron Katie's teachings. That if we are taking action without the compassionate heart, in our good intention, what do I do? Move? Nothing? Okay. Accept it, integrate it. This is technological shadow. Okay, got it. We can do this. We've been doing our work. Sometimes we can actually be bringing forward the opposite of what our intentionality is. But when we do the inner work, now we're bringing forward our loving, our accepting, in whatever way we're inspired to act. And in the context of our life. So this is another thing. Workshops are wonderful. Retreats are wonderful. I do them myself. They're actually my preferred form of entertainment. Is a good weekend workshop. I mean, what's better than that, really? And they work. They do beautiful things. But there's often that conundrum of experiencing this kind of state experience and then not knowing how to integrate it in your life. Well, when we see life itself as the weekend workshop that goes 7 days a week, now the insights and awarenesses that we get by interfacing with presence, with the moment as it's arising, is part of the structure of our reality. And it has a relevance, it has a context. So when we do that in our lives, when we do that in our community as an intentional collective, we show up as spiritual wizards. Yeah, we have we potentiate our own divine power. And then when we do that collectively, that synergy even brings it forward. There are some new capacities that will arise from our conscious collective that we cannot do alone. So, I'm going to read a little bit from this wonderful book, The Coming Waves. And this talks about showing up in the context of serving. As the universe is always evolving, there is no final state to attain that can be called enlightenment as we have traditionally thought about it. Isn't that interesting? We may still attain non-dual consciousness or classical enlightenment as a permanent trait, but this consciousness must be brought out to engage with the world. It's no longer sufficient to meditate in a cave or a monastery for one's life. It might be in a different cultural developmental stage. We become, all of us, householders. All of us are part of the domestic day-to-dayness of humanity. Called to a life of meaning and purpose, and inherent in this engagement, in this showing up, is that we must learn to collectively engage, surrendered freely to the service of the highest good. Similarly, as our humanity is evolving as one consciousness, we must embrace and support those around us. So that's what it looks like. As we evolve as one consciousness, we embrace and support those around us. Right, Beverly? You're up in 2 minutes. Just as a chain is only as strong as its weakest link, so does our future development as a species and planet depend on all of us. We've moved out of the we, me. We've even moved out of the we. And now it depends on all of we, all the we's, all of us. As we become identified as consciousness itself, involved in this process of evolution, we also become aware of the future, not as a projection of the present moment based in past experience, but as an open field of potentiality which is present and rooted in this moment and affected through our conscious engagement with it. So that's really the takeaway of today's talk, is that showing up is about being rooted in this moment and how we are consciously engaging in this moment. That's our showing up work. That's our showing up spiritual practice. And when we do that, we're tetra-activating the whole thing. So, to put this in real life and to give us an opportunity to show up in service of what's emerging in our beloved community, I am going to invite our very own Beverly Campbell to come up to the podium and introduce our newest ministry, in which you can also show up if you're so inspired. There you go.
What would you do with that kind of an introduction? Me, I'm just scared. I'm here to talk to you about a new ministry that we're forming here at Unity. And it's called Community Connections. Now I'm going to give you the vision. The vision is an interdependent community where we link, support, and uplift each other through the physical, mental, and spiritual parts of the human journey. Now we need to put some clothes on that because I don't know about you, it kind of goes over my head a bit. But at any rate, we're forming this group, and by the way, this has been kind of in formation for several months, so it wasn't Shara saying, you know, think of something because I need something. This is what has been coming forward. And we're forming this group so that we can be a more loving and caring community. So that when we think of ourselves as a community at Unity of Tustin, we don't just say to people, that's where I go to church on Sunday. We want to be more of a community. So we all experience trouble in our lives, and some of us do not have a lot of backup. And we would like to show that at Unity, you know we have your back covered because you're part of our family. The ministry is a network that will sew the community together. At the center of the ministry is the hub, and the hub will collect the many resources outside in Orange County that can help us. It will collect the many resources inside our community that will help us. In other words, people here who will hopefully volunteer and that they're able to give their time and their talents. And it will collect requests and referrals for help. Now, part of the hard part of this is, I don't know about you, but most of us have the hardest time asking for help. So we have to be open every which way. So we will collect everything, and we will be serving community members of Tustin Unity, okay? And anybody else who has a long-term commitment to Unity of Tustin. So some things that the hub will do, to give you an idea, is receive all requests for help or referrals, contact the person who has been referred and see if they really want help. And if they don't, wonderful. But then we can tell them, I'm from Unity of Tustin and I just want you to know that we care. Sometimes that's all we need. If they don't need the help, we would ask if we can call back in a week or two to find out if everything's okay. And if they do need the help, then we look at outside resources and see if something's already in the community that could help them, and we walk them through the process of getting that help. I don't know if you've ever found out, but I've had reason to tell somebody to call 211 for help in the community. And I think that's a really good resource, except that I also found out that they get an answering service saying call back on Tuesdays and Thursdays between 2 and 4. That's not the help we want to give. We want to walk with people to get help. If there's no help outside, then hopefully we have a cadre of volunteers on the inside that we can look at and say, oh, here's so-and-so. I wonder if they would spend some time with, and do that. So we want to follow up then and see if help has been given, both from the volunteer and from the person referred. So this is really important. This is love, care, and support. I'm going to give you an example. Let's just say somebody calls me and says, Betty Jean's husband is in the hospital in emergency. I just heard about it, and I don't know if they have any help or not. I would get in touch with Betty Jean and see if they do need any help. Now, she's likely doesn't even know what help she needs at that point in time. And if she doesn't need help, I'd ask if I could call back and just check with her and just let her know, we're here, here's a number to call if you need anything. We want to support you, and if you think of something, we're here for you. When we call back, if Betty Jean has something she needs, then we go out and we look for a volunteer. Hopefully we have people in the database that we can go to. And then we refer them in. And by doing that, what we're trying to do is to give Betty Jean an idea that she's part of a living community that cares. And that's really the hope of the whole thing. Requests for help, the help should be of finite duration. In other words, we would have a problem with requests that would take months and years. I don't think our volunteers are quite ready for that yet. If another ministry of the church is already fulfilling what they need, for instance, we have a couple of ministries here who are doing a fine job. John Claude with the prayer chaplains, if we phone somebody and they say, no, dear, I'm fine, just lots of prayers, please, I would ask, can I have John Claude call you, and maybe he can help you there in that line. In other words, we don't want to be overlapping. People are doing a good job at what they're trying to do. Let's be partners. We also have a meal ministry here if people are in need of a meal when there's an emergency. So we would call that person Sandy. Three main categories at this time under this community connections. Now there's only three because you have not said anything yet. In other words, when Shara was talking about this comes from the community, literally we're waiting. In other words, I'm trying to give you some ideas, a little bit of structure. This has to come from you. We need your ideas and we need your help. So the three main categories are support the emergencies, which I've mentioned. Another is, Shara touched on it, the welcome group. When people first come to Unity, we want them to truly understand that we are a community that cares and loves and supports. And we want to get together all the people who have been in this welcome ministry. They have great experience and great knowledge, and we need that to go forward. And we want to get together and put together an extensive plan so that people who do come here could feel welcome. Another one would be support in bereavement. We do get a call for a lot of celebration of life services, and we want to be able to walk with those families. For those interested in becoming a volunteer, there are sign-up sheets outside. They're yellow. I'm not asking you to commit to anything other than maybe getting a phone call that says, what do you think about this ministry? What do you think we can do with this ministry? And then finally, do you think you could help with it? I'm not asking for commitments at this time, just your ideas, and hopefully get a lot of input that way. We will have the odd meeting with Community Connections, but this is not your usual ministry where we meet once a month and so on. This is a network. It's almost like the nerve network, all right? You don't see it, but it's there when you need it. So it's not a lot of meetings you're signing up for. You could sign up for something, and after we talk, I'll have different areas that I know I could call you on. You may not hear of anything for 6 months. Who knows? It has to come from the community, the needs and the requests. I want you to please think about this. We need your help, and we definitely need your ideas. So please sign up. All I'm asking for is some information outside that I can then contact you and see what you have to say. Thank you very much.
exciting. I love that, the nerve endings. We're just kind of building deeper nerve endings. And make no mistake, Beverly, me, everyone so far involved, we have no idea what we're doing. So, but it's that intention and aspiration. And the newer way is in self-organizing. The ministry may look very similar to how Beverly presented it. It may look incredibly different. And one of the ways we need the help is we need the help by creating the vulnerability to accept help. Okay? And that might be the shadow work. That might be the deeper part. I've given a talk on interdependence before. We have dependence. Then when we grow, we become independent. A lot of times we think that's the top of the mountain. But over that is interdependent. And when we're interdependent, greater things can happen because we share our gifts and we are dependent on each other. So, like many of you, it's an area of growth for me. I have been very good at having my personal crises and dark nights of the soul. I'll handle it out of line of sight. And then, when I'm okay, I'll come back, I'll tell you all about it. This was when it's nice bow on top, this was my dark night of the soul. And, I had a dark night of the soul a few years ago, which led to my whole life right now. And it was very hard, but I'm in supervision groups and consultation groups for years, even though I don't need them. So when I need it, I have a place to go. So the relationship's already there, like we do here. And I got myself there, and I went to my group in my dark night of the soul. And I cried so hard, I couldn't help stop snotting. Is that a word? I mean, it's that messy. It's that messy. But yet I actually met the moment with the presence of what was real, which was life as I knew it coming apart, crumbling, as Russell's been talking about, with a faith that the phoenix will arise. But in between, I needed a lot of help. That's a hard place, those no reference lands. And life happens to us. Life as we know it falls away. The new life hasn't emerged yet. We can really help each other in those periods, but we have to show up messy and all. So we show up in order to give the help. We show up to receive the help. That's the interdependence we're looking for. That's the type of 360 degrees showing up that we are inspiring to embody more and more. Okay, so I think that's a wrap. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Beverly. God bless. And I'll turn it over to Patty.
Thank you, Reverend Shara, and thank all of you for showing up here today, especially our first-timers. We are so delighted that you're here. We believe in many paths, one God. Our purpose is to transform lives and to make a positive difference in the world, like Beverly is just showing us the path how to do. We are a community of all walks of life, and we'd like you to know that whatever your background, we're glad you're here to grow spiritually with us. Ushers, would you please come forward with a flower and an information card? And if you are a newcomer and you feel comfortable doing so, we'd like you to raise your hand so we can honor you with a flower and give you the card that will put you, connect you with us on Friday mornings. We get this e-blast that tells us all the good stuff going on. So thank you very much. And you can turn that good. You can turn those information cards into the bookstore to start getting our Connections. Now is the time for our love offering for those of you who are not first-time guests. We take this moment to share our financial gifts with our ministry. We invite you to briefly bless the bag as it goes by, the offering bag, to connect with the spirit of giving. So there are many ways to give that are in your bulletin and on our website. Our ministry and meditation gardens depend on your regular giving. So if you can make that a monthly gift, that really helps us budget. Okay, so yes, Connie.
Say a quick little thing.
Yes, please.
Is this the right time? I got this.
Anytime.
Okay.
Connie's our president.
Thank you very much. Our illustrious music director has asked me to remind all of us that our choir rehearsal is starting up again after the summer hiatus tomorrow. Everyone is invited. Don't tell me you don't know how to sing. Right. Yes, you do. You absolutely do. So that will be all the rest of the Mondays coming forward from 5:30 to 7. If you have just a glimmering, gee, I wonder what it's about, come. We will invite you, support you, and embrace you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
And the choir only sings once a month, right, Carol? And it is a wonderful bonding spiritual blessing.
There are so many ways to show up with music, with our YFM is looking for teachers. Our hospitality would love once a month to come and help with hospitality. Contact Beverly if you have some interests. So many beautiful ways to show up in this community. And we also show up and support these beautiful grounds and our soul through time, talent, and treasure. So in order to be the living organism of love that we are, we need us all to show up with our time, to show up with our talent, to show up with our need, and to show up with our abundance. So we are grateful in advance for all of the abundance so many of us share on a regular basis with this community that allows us to show up for each other as the collective beloved community that we are. So together, let us say our love offering affirmation. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. In joy and love. God bless.
See, now that's what I was talking about, that community connection. Just reach out and, yeah. I have one for you. When is a knot not a knot? When it's not. You started it. You got to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative, don't mess with Mr. In Between. You gotta spread joy up to the maximum, bring gloom down to the minimum, have faith or pandemonium's liable to walk upon the scene. To illustrate my last remark, Jonah and the whale, Noah and the ark, what did they do when everything looked so dark? Well, they said you've got to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative, don't mess with Mr. In Between. Hey, don't mess with Mr. In Between. Come on, Carol. Yeah. looked so dark. Man, they said we better accentuate the negative, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. No, don't mess with Mr. In Between. Say it again. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. All right.
Debbie, I want to thank you for starting many of my New Year's with a positive fold, because you were here on New Year's, right? And the first time I was figuring it out that I heard you was in 2005 in the Fullerton, that jazz place down on Commonwealth. And now, Debbie, when can we hear you at Cedar Creek Inn?
I'm at Cedar Creek Inn every Friday and Saturday night.
Okay.
In Brea.
In Brea.
6 to 10. Come on.
Okay, great food. And Carol, we're so relieved you're back. We love you. Next Sunday is the second Sunday of the odd month. Now, what is that? That's our Green Bag Sunday. You can get your green bag out on the patio and fill it up with the items. There's a list inside where we donate to those in need in our community. That's one way we reach out. And am I the only Nana here? I don't think so. Next Sunday, our children are going to grow up and reach out and show up by feeding us. It's the second time. It's a pancake breakfast. So it's to honor Grandparent Day. So I'm sure I'm not the only one that's going to enjoy that. Right after service. That's our hospitality. Yeah. And Sue Tyner, I want to honor you for gathering us seniors together to go play and investigate new restaurants. All right. So I think that the urban plates on September 13th, just talk to Sue and she'll make a reservation for you. It's a really fun way to bond and get to know us better. As Reverend Shara mentioned, hospitality could always use more servers, right, Susan? And so you can contact Susan or Laura Tolzman or Sonia Schechter. Yeah, any of them. Or just go in the kitchen and tell them, or just come with some food on most Sundays and they'll take it gladly. Check your e-blasts each Friday to find out what's happening, and as you leave, be sure to check the welcome table to sign up for some of those Byron Katie spirit groups. That's going to be really fun. Join us after the service now for some food and fellowship. Our bookstore's open. You can get Reiki from those who have a green ribbon, and as you go into the gardens, you can pray with one of the prayer chaplains that has the white ribbon. You can pray in person in the gardens, and your prayer will be held in confidence. We will pray for you for a whole month if you put a prayer request in the box, and then it goes to Unity Village and gets more prayers for another month. So this is a campus of prayer, a campus of consciousness. At 1 o'clock, after you've had some munchies, please join us back here in the sanctuary for Reverend Shara's salon, where it's just a very casual discussion group of what we've heard today. Thank you, and please rise and join us now for the prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you, and have a fun Labor Day.